Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one, I'm excited to share with you an overview of Division du Rhin, a new French division available in the SOUTHAG expansion. The last of the 10 divisions are now released and available early if you own the expansion pass or the gold edition. I know it's a bit disappointing for those of you who want to maybe buy SOUTHAG separately. Hopefully they'll release it soon officially. Let's jump on in and we'll go through all of the units and we'll put together a quick deck. So starting here in the logistics tab, we have ourselves the TRM 2000 logistics. It's the 750 supply vehicle with 90 speed on road, 65 off road. It's a reliable logistics truck. 8 on a card, 3 cards available. Then we have the AMX 13, which is a well armored command vehicle. It's not too fast though. But for 50 points, having 3 front armor and 2 side armor, it's not too bad if you just want to have it secure a point for you. Alouette, your 3 on a card, cheap command helicopter. It's good for capturing sectors in the backline. Say if you're playing 1v1 and you just want a helicopter that can go around and cap stuff quickly at the start of the game, then might work. But honestly, they get spotted too easily and they get killed too easily, so not recommended. Then we have the TRM 10,000. This is a very good supply truck. 3 on a card for 60 points. You get 2,000 supply, 90 km/h on-road speed, 75 km/h off-road speed. When I'm looking at these trucks, generally I want to see capacity and off-road speed, and this has a good mix of both. Then we have the M201PC. Fast little Jeep, good for capping sectors. You also get 3 on a card, unlike the MX-13, so that's going to be a useful one. Then there's the Fuchs Fufu, which is a 85 point command, only 2 on a card though, but very fast and armored as well, so that helps. And then there's also the FOB available. Right, moving on to the infantry. Infantry is a little lackluster in this division. You see already that there is some German units in this division as well, you may have noticed. But starting here with the French, we've got the Gendarmerie leader. So these guys do come with a P4 with the siren, so military police vehicle. We have 2 of these available on a card, only 4-man leader squad for 35 points. I mean, very cheap squad, but not ideal. Only having 2 availability. Then we got the Prévôté. These are your security troops. They've got the security trait. They've got the military police. 4-man squad with submachine guns with the P4. Again, for military police traits. And then we've got the Gendarme Mobile, which is the larger squad. So 8 strength with 2 submachine guns, 5 FAMAS and the machine gun. They do have military police trait. And they can also bring in either the truck here, which is cool, or the VBRG, which is like an armored truck with a machine gun on it. Very fast, this. Kind of nice. I like this as a military police unit for supporting armored vehicles. So I actually think these squads are going to be quite useful. Then we got reservists, lots of them. We got reservist leader, which is a 6-man squad with the reservist trait. Can be brought in with the TRM or the MX-13. Your standard reservists, which are 9 FAMAS and a machine gun for 30 points. Reservist trait. Reservist with the LRAC, but it's not the good LRAC, it's the 73. So it's only got 13 penetration at 500 meter range. Rather lackluster gun. Also, you're not getting any FAMAS, you're just getting like the 3 submachine guns and then the MAS 49-56 and then the machine gun there. So for 35 points, it's okay, but kind of lacking in weapons. And then we got the reservists with the FRF1. So again, the MAS with the AA and the FRF1, and then the LRAC 73. So a little bit better, sort of longer range capability. They're going to be able to keep up at the 850 meter range, whereas reservists get their full DPS closer up. All of these reservists can come in with the MX-30s. This one actually, yeah, these are just TRM 2000s actually. Okay, moving on to the chasseur. We have a 5-man leader squad with smoke. I do like my infantry squads, especially like the leaders, to have smokes. I think it's really, really useful for just getting them out of hairy situations and allowing them to kind of put themselves into the edge of sectors and cover themselves if you maybe don't have a smoke unit on the map yet. And then we got normal chasseurs with the 6 FAMAS machine gun, FRF1, and the LRAC, the F1, which has the extra range. So 15 pen at 750 meter range with 55% accuracy. Like if you compare it, you can see how different that is. So these guys are pretty reasonable. And they do come in with a 20mm AMX-13. So a nice combination there for sure. Then we have the Jägerführer. The Jägerführer is a very nice squad, 60-point leader squad. Decent weapons, G3s, 8 of those, MG3, G3A3, and smoke grenade. Yeah, 60 points. And they can come in with the Fuchs, which is a nice armoured fast supply, or transport vehicle, sorry. And then we got the standard Jaeger squads. These Jaeger squads don't have any AT, so 7 G3s, MG3, G3A3, but they do come in with a Fuchs Milan if you choose it, so that could be useful. Then we got the Jaegers with the Carl Gustav, so 8 G3s, MG3, and Carl Gustav. This is a nice squad for sure, because the Carl Gustav has 16 penetration at 750 meter range, so it's actually pretty good. And then we got the Fuchs there as well. For 50 points is a good squad. And then we got the Jaeger Panzerfaust, which do get the Panzerfaust 44, which has less range and less penetration, but still decent accuracy. So 14 pen, 675 meter range, and then same gun setup. They do cost the same amount, and then you have the Fuchs as your transport, or the Unimogs, of course. Then we have the sappers, so TRM 2000, sorry, misclick, TRM 2000, and then there's also the AMX 13 VCGF1, which I don't think has any better armor or anything, even though it has a dozer on the front. Sometimes when they have the dozer on the front, they get like +1 armor, but it's an interesting vehicle anyway that's been added to the game there. Nice bit of flavor. 10-man leader squad, or sorry, 8-man leader squad with shock trait. The fact they don't have smoke is a bit disappointing. But then we got the reservist sappers. So these guys I think are going to be the priority over something like the normal reservists, because these reservists, for example, even the reservist FRF1, like if you want to take them for anti-infantry, you might as well have a satchel. So yeah, this seems like a good choice for 40 points, because you don't only get a satchel, but you also get an AT weapon. So you kind of have the both. It reminds me very much of the Polish sappers. Regardless, 9 rifles, machine gun, AT, and HE. Then we have the standard sappers, which get the 7 rifles, machine gun, satchel charge, and they have the shock trait, but they're not reservist. And then the sappers with the flamethrower. Flamethrower is a little bit better than they used to be, so maybe something worth considering. Also got more of those engineer vehicles. And then we got 3 cards of M40 recoilless rifles, which is a lot. There's 1 card of the Milan 1s, which can be brought in with the Fuchs Milan. And there's also the Milan 2 that can be brought in with the Fuchs Milan, as well as the Iltis, of course. So the infantry tab, very sort of reservist heavy. It's going to rely probably a lot on smoke and spam to get work done with these, but very cheap activation slots. Moving on to the artillery tab, we have first of all the 120mm mortar. 5,625 meter range, it's not anything spectacular. And we got the M1A2 105. Classic gun, 10,000 meter range, reasonable rate of fire. Could use it just for like a cheap smoke howitzer over the mortar here. I think this would be a good choice. And then we got the 105, which is on the armored hull here. Very cool looking unit interesting looking unit. Same rate of fire, just mobile, and has the armor. It's also reservist. And then we've got the F3 with the L33 gun, 155mm gun, 17km range with 3.4 HE. I do kind of like it. I think it'll be okay. And then we got the 155 Toad, which has the same stats as on the gun at least. Although I say that, this one has a slightly lower supply cost. It's probably because it has less shells. Yeah, it's got less shells. But it is cheaper, much cheaper, if you want to tow it. And then there's the LRM, which is a cluster launcher. The M26 cluster rockets, 32km range, 6 penetration. Yeah, pretty decent cluster launcher. And moving on to the tank tab, we have the M201 Milan truck. These do have good stealth, so you can kind of spam these around, and that's probably not going to be a bad use for them because 35 points. Good stealth means they can usually get one shot off before they're being spotted. Yeah, not too bad. And then we've got the MX-13 line, which is now joining us in WARNO. They look very nice. Love the model. Looks good. These do have 1,925 meter range, 10 penetration. They get 45% base accuracy. It's only for 50 in this case because the leader gets +1. Vet. They have 12 round per minute rate of fire, which is pretty decent. It is an autoloader, so it won't get affected by stress either, which is kind of interesting. Now in terms of the leader here, only 2 on a card for 60 points. Probably not something you're going to be taking too often. But if we go to the next versions, we get ATGMs. So as well as that gun, which fires very quickly, yes, the penetration is very low, so you're going to struggle against any other tanks, but they're going to be fantastic against light vehicles, and they're also going to be able to put down a reasonable amount of rate of fire onto infantry. But they do have now the ATGM, so for 50 points, you're getting a 19 penetration, 2,625 meter range ATGM. The accuracy is terrible, but with enough of these, which you can certainly have, you're going to be okay. You also get smoke launchers, so that's good. Smoke it up and back up, and then for extra 5 points, you get 10% accuracy on the ATGM, which is actually a really nice buff for 5 points. Right, moving on, we have the M47 Dozer, 10 front armor on this bad boy, and it's got a 15 penetration gun, 1,925 meter range, 50% accuracy, and 10 round per minute rate of fire. It's okay. For 65 points, I'm not sure if it's worth it for 65 points. It's actually a reasonable amount of armor, but because it's not really going to be challenging tanks much, I guess side shots are still going to do a lot of damage. But it just seems like it's going to get eaten up quite easily by bigger tanks. Then we've got the M48 A2 GA2. So this still has 1,925 meter range, but you go up to 17 penetration and 55% accuracy. The leader one here getting the +1 vet, pushing it to 60%. In this case, 2 on a card, reasonable leader unit if you want like a heavy armored unit for capturing a point. And then we got the 75 points here, which is actually just a bit of a downgrade because they become reservist. So instead of being like 55% base accuracy, they're actually 50%. Well, technically like 45 if you take away like the reservist. Yeah, it's gonna be, actually I guess that's already, okay, never mind. Yeah, so it is 55 base. They're 50 because of the reduction of the reservist, right? Okay, so it's still the same stats. Yeah. They're alright for 75 points. I mean, you're paying an extra 10 points for 2 penetration, which is probably worth it. You're also getting smoke as well. The M47 doesn't have smoke, which is a big deal when it comes to tank engagements. Alright, moving on to the Recon tab, we have the AMX-10 VOA. This is a very good optics armoured recon vehicle. Does have smoke for 15 points. Could be worth just spreading out. And there's the BGS 5-man recon squad. They have the militia trait, so they get longer aim time and reload, although generally because they're just going to be used as recon, it's not going to matter too much. Exceptional stealth, very good optics, great infantry unit just for spreading out, and basically not ever getting in combat. And then we got the reserve Ecuador. They're all right. Again, kind of lacking 20 points. Reservist, LRAC 73 is their AT. At the start of the game, you might be able to catch out like a transport or two with these, but ultimately just going to be a unit again you spread out and hope it doesn't get into combat. Another one that's the same, the M201 Rasura. This is cool though because it has exceptional optics, which is really good. Exceptional optics makes a lot of difference, so definitely worth investing in. Then we got the Alouette, which is your standard recon helicopter. Then we got AML 60s. So this is the 60mm version. Does have some smoke rounds as well as the machine gun. It does have good stealth and good optics. It's going to be okay for helping support against infantry. And then we've got the AML 90, which is a good flanking vehicle because it's very fast with very good optics. 14 penetration is only going to be really good for side shots. 1,925 meter range. Can also like get into the back line and clean up support assets like AA and artillery. And then we got the M201 recoilless. Now, nice thing about these is they have good optics and good stealth with a 17 pen M40. So I think you could certainly catch out some units with these. Then we got the Jaeger Aufkader, which is your classic 9 strength Jaeger Aufkader squad with the 8 G3 MG3 Panzerfaust. Really solid recon squad. Can be brought in with a recon Fuchs as well. Although in this case, like the stealth is only mediocre, so it's not going to be as useful as a recon vehicle, but still probably useful in support, like attacking a town or something. The Fuchs can sit on the edge and spot infantry as they engage you. Moving on to the anti-air, we have the Fliegerfaust with the Red Eye. Pretty trash man-pad squad, but the only one you can get, so you might have to make do. Maybe just upvet them a little bit to get the extra accuracy. 25 points, you're going to want to spam them. Then we got the Maxen, which is potentially good against infantry, but not going to be too good against much else. Unless you have like a bunch of them together, you might be able to shoot down a helicopter with them, but it's going to struggle. Same with the Bofors, although the Bofors is a bit better at killing helicopters. It's just in this case, the Bofors has a reservist trait. So you're losing accuracy, which 5% is quite a lot when your accuracy base is like 10%. So that's really rough. And also, you know, if they get pinned, they're going to get pinned quicker. So yeah, reservist trait really does affect these quite a lot. But there is a 30mm. This is going to be useful for supporting against infantry as well as helicopters. And it's still got 1,200 meter range against ground targets, and this is something that a lot of the top players have been using these sort of 20 and 30mm for a while now. Is sort of close range AA, but also infantry support. We've also got the Maxen on the M16. So classic old school World War II anti-air. Interesting to see it in the game. Not sure how effective it's going to be. It might be okay because you can use it a bit more reliably as a ground support vehicle as opposed to anti-air. And then we got the iHawk, which is a really solid anti-air platform. Generally, I would recommend upvetting them, then putting a leader nearby as well. You can push the accuracy up to like 65%, which is going to be important for making sure you shoot down enemy aircraft. Moving on to the helicopters. 3 choices here. We got the Alouette 3 AS11. So this is the 19 penetration, 2,625 meter range ATGM, which was mounted on the AMX-13s. 40% accuracy. Then the Gazelle cannon, which comes with the 20mm. And there's also the BO-105, which comes with the Hot 1, which has 22 penetration at 2,625 meter range with 50% accuracy. So a nice upgrade from the Alouette 3. Finally, we have the AirTab, which is the Alpha Jet E with 4 napalm bombs. The Alpha Jets are okay. The biggest problem with them, like they're good value for money in a lot of cases, but yeah, the biggest problem with them is their health. Like they get one shot by most big AA, and then 10% ECM is not really saving them very often. There is also a cluster version in this division. So yeah, 13 pen seems pretty good, but you can see the range here is really low. So you basically got to fly like right over the enemy to make this work. But otherwise, very interesting. Then we got the Mirage 3, which is your anti-air. So yeah, air superiority fighter with 2 magic missiles and the R530. The accuracy on these is really rough, like 45% and then 40%. That's with 1 vet as well. You can, of course, up vet to get a bit more accuracy. But yeah, the biggest problem with these is just they're going to miss a lot. So you're going to want to use them in like 2s or 3s if you want to get those R530s on target. Then we got the Mirage 3 Seed, which does come with a Martel. Again, accuracy a little lacking, but you do get a lot of them. At least you get 3 on a card, so that's kind of nice. Not really much point in upbetting these, in my opinion. And you also get 2 magic missiles on that, so it can be used as anti-helo. And then we got the Mirage 3E, which comes with the AS30 ATGM. Very short range ATGM with low accuracy. Like 3,325 meter range, 35%. It is going to one-bang most tanks because of 30 pen, but yeah, it's kind of rough otherwise. These two at least get 20% ECM. The Mirage 3E is only on 10% ECM. Moving on to the Mirage 2000. This is the Mirage 2000C RDM, which is an air superiority fighter with 4 magic missiles. These are the magic 2s, so they get 55% accuracy. So this is a much better missile, fire and forget. Very nice indeed, with 30% ECM. And there's also the AA2, which gets magic 2s and super 530s, which I don't think are actually much better. They actually lose range but gain accuracy. That's an interesting one. Regardless, if you're going to be engaging at longer ranges, these are still going to be more useful because of the extra missile that you have. Then we got the F4F-AT, which is a good aircraft, 30% ECM, Phantom with 4 Maverick missiles, 30 pen, fire and forget missiles, very, very nice. Again, short range, 3,150 meter range, 50% accuracy, but reliable. Or more reliable, I should say. And then we got the Mirage 5 with 10 250 kilogram bombs. Actually a reasonable payload. 20% ECM, 2 magic missiles, magic 2 missiles. Yeah, decent bomber as well. Alrighty, and that's everything. So let's quickly put together a deck. We'll probably start with the M201 PC here. I'm going to throw in the TRM 10,000s. And I may want to bring a fob, but we'll come back to that. Then we'll go for definitely Gendarme Mobile with the VBRG. We're going to run the chasseurs with the 20mm AMX. I think we'll probably take them with the veterancy. I'm wondering if I want another leader in the infantry tab, or if I want to maybe just save this for the other infantry. Because I'm probably going to be bringing in a lot of these reservist sappers. I think they're going to be really useful for just like overwhelming the enemy. We can technically upbet them, but I don't think I need to. We'll just run them with the gendarme mobile and a leader. So saying that makes me want to bring a leader. Which ones do we bring though? Maybe Jägerführer would be the play. And then aside from that, we definitely want the Milan 2s. We probably want the Milan 1s as well. And maybe even some recoilless. We'll take the Jaegers with Carl Gustavs. And maybe just some Jaegers with Panzerfaust as well. Yeah, so we'll run it like this. So we've got the good infantry at the front with the upvet. We've got the sort of military police. We've got the reservists and then the ATGMs. Might have to mess around with that tab, but seems okay for now. Here, I'm tempted to run with the code vehicles. So I think we'll do 105s and then we'll do 155s and then cluster. For the tanks here, probably run some armored tanks, so that makes us have 7 command vehicles, which should be enough. And then we'll run maybe M48 2s. I'm thinking we run just Milans in there. Though saying that, these are technically better than the Milans, right? In terms of AP at least. It's probably more useful to just have them spread around. Recon-wise, Jäger Aufkada for sure. We'll run the exceptional optics, Jeep, definitely some helicopters, and then it's a matter of like what else do you want on top of that, which is a difficult one because like these could be useful to just spam out at the start of the game. And maybe I run them with the M201. I would like to try these as well though. Recon recoilless. Because I think they could be really good fire support. Right, AA wise, definitely Eyehawks. Gonna upbet those. Versus helicopters, probably want the 30 mils. And I might try the M16s. For helicopter, I don't know if you want any helicopters. Like BO-105 could be useful. That doesn't leave us much room for aircraft. We'll take that bomber, we'll take the Phantom, we'll take that AA. I think there is potential here to push much more heavily into the aircraft. Maybe I run one less cluster. We run one less infantry. And that will give us quite a lot more points to work with. And then we can run something like Mirage 3 Seed with a second air-to-air. Though our air-to-air is not too bad with the double Eyehawk that we've got running. So maybe instead it should be like Mirage 3Es. Or maybe I do actually put in some of these M201s. I think recoilless rifles right now, they got nerfed a while back. I feel like they could be a lot better than people think. Just like realized I didn't bring the fob, so that's going to be kind of rough. There are going to be situations where I probably need it. I need at least like one more supply vehicle in here if I'm not going to bring a fob regardless. So just thinking what I want to drop. Maybe I don't take those and instead we take... I'm so convinced that they're going to be useful. Let's just take the... I really want to run those. It's a tough one. It's a real tough one. Deck feels like it doesn't have enough activation points considering how low quality the units are. Unless I just commit to having one fob and one set of supply vehicles. I think we'll take the seed out and we'll just run with a fob. Okay, that'll do. A difficult division to make because the options in it are kind of bad, to say the least. Like, I think it's going to be a struggle to play this well against like higher tier divisions. But you do have a lot of spam, you know, a lot of tank spam there, decent amount of infantry spam. Using smoke well will help this division succeed. Yeah, there's potential, but it is going to be a hard one to play. But that's all I got time for. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.